Hi, welcome back to Wild Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
This week we talk about Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 14, In Too Deep.
Yes.
Uh,
Good ending for the first arc.
yeah. Very satisfying.
Yeah.
I think. Got a lot right. I don't remember my exact words, and I don't remember which episode it was that we predicted, but it's when we were discussing whether or not Robin was going to be a permanent fixture.
Yeah. You said, but I believe you said by episode 15. I merely said by the end. At the end of the first arc.
Yeah. Yeah, and I pegged down by 15. I'm pretty sure I said 15.
Yeah.
I may have given a range between like 12 and 15.
Yeah.
Might have been the exact quote, but yeah, I was very pleased. I was like, called it.
Yeah. And last week I said there would be one, probably two fights this week.
Yep.
And called the fights the duel in Omaha.
Yep. Got them both.
And which, as I said, keeps us at an average of one fight every other episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes 7 fights in 14 episodes.
Yeah. For me,
yeah, Rose, you called that one when we talked about the new opening.
Yeah. Real easy to swap him in and out. Or whatever guest.
Whatever guest in and out, or just not have it there.
Yeah. I feel bad for Taliesin. Because my notes is a little extreme. I don't want to say it's a bad choice, but I know he enjoys that randomness in his play style. I know he likes resource management in his builds. So I know that this build is tailored to his likes, but the duel was a perfect example of why it's not great design.
The only thing that I have a problem with in the design is the Chaos Burst requiring a weapon. The randomness, because I mean, even like, and you may have this argument for like the Wild Magic Barbarian, there's random things that can happen that will not always be useful.
The Wild Magic Barbarian didn't come out of UA.
What? This didn't come out of the UA.
No, I'm saying the Wild Magic Barbarian.
Yeah.
Didn't make it out of UA. Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it's in Tasha's.
Oh. I guess I blocked that out. No, Jangor, he was just rolling like Taliesin. He's rolling 17s, 18s, and 19s.
Yeah.
So that's why he was getting the
Taliesin
mid-20s.
either rolls in the high, like, 4 numbers or the low 4 numbers. There's no real... There's not much in between for Taliesin.
Yeah. But yeah, so he had to re-up his rage to try for a different effect. Yeah. And then he could use the Chaos Burst on his punches.
And if I remember, it's been a minute since I've looked at the Wild Magic Barbarian, but if I remember right, it's not until I think they're around 8th level feature that they get to, it's either roll twice and pick one, or they get to change it as a bonus action on their turn.
Rather than expending a rage.
Rather than dropping a rage and re-upping it to change.
Yeah. And if it was something like that, it wouldn't be as bad. And yeah, Rose, I don't think the Zealot Barbarian requires a weapon for the bonus D6.
Right.
And I don't know why Matt would have designed it that it has to have a weapon, other than maybe he wanted it to feel more like a paladin.
Yeah.
Also, I think the damage is a D8.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the balancing aspect where the Zealot Barbarian is only a D6.
Yeah. I hope it gets altered before it's released to where it doesn't require a weapon. If it has to drop to a D6, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think that would be better. Like for me, the 4, the gravity, temporal morass, space probability options, that's fine. I'm okay with. Oh, this one isn't good in this, because the path is called fundamental chaos. For me, that's not an issue. For me, but I tend to lean more towards the Taliesin style of play with randomness and resource management than you do.
Yeah, where I want, if I have different options for my rage, I want to be able to choose them.
Right.
There's no, I don't know. For me, it's not tactically satisfying to not be able to do that, and that's where I get my enjoyment from combat. Is I make the decisions on how to implement things.
And see, my enjoyment comes from getting something that might, at least on the surface, can be considered useless and trying to find a way to make it useful.
In an overall build situation, I can get behind that, but not on a combat by combat basis. It's basically like being the woman in Dogma, and I'm blanking on her name, where she pulls the bat on Metatron.
Oh,
what are you gonna do? Hit me with that fish? That's what this subclass feels like to me.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna rage. Here's my bat. Nope, it's a fish.
Hey, cut down the mightiest tree in the forest with it. It's a herring. It also, like, especially now that, at least according to crit rule stats, we've got all 4 possibilities of gravity, temporal morass, space, probability. I'm wondering if that's what inspired the Kryn Dynasty flavored outfit, because it's a very Dunamanic feeling subclass.
Yeah. Yeah. Which again, I think it points to either an aspect of Dunamancy that Matt never got into, or that this perhaps would have been better as a Dunamancy barbarian.
Yeah.
And this is just a backdoor into that. And as for Rose talking about Tavern Brawler, which the general had, but also a fighter multi-class with unarmed fighting style wouldn't get to take advantage. A monk multi-class wouldn't get to take advantage on their unarmed strikes. It's just, I don't understand the limitation of needing a weapon.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe when he releases it, there'll be something either later, progression-wise, or something that makes it make more sense.
Yeah.
But I don't see it either. I don't like I said, the weapon requirement is the only thing that I have a serious issue with.
Also, I don't think we saw everything from the general, because Storm Herald barbarians get other stuff that happens on their rage than just the bonus damage.
Yeah.
As a bonus action every turn. My guess is fighter, and maybe I'm wrong that it was Tavern Brawler, but I don't remember Matt rolling anything higher than what would have been a 4 plus the guy's strength.
Yeah.
Which if he was like a fighter with unarmed fighting, It's a
Strength
D6.
plus strength plus rage damage plus a D4
Yeah.
is what I was calculating it out to be as well.
Same. But because Ashton is crippled by not being able to use his Chaos Burst and not getting anything good for his rage, because he dropped his rage, rolled again, and I don't remember him ever using any benefit of the rage at all. He loses, despite FCG on the sidelines giving him temporary hit points and absorbing damage from him. I don't know if Matt is, and because we talked about how Sam seems to be taking those temporary hit points off his hit points when he doesn't use them.
Yes.
And Matt seems to have reinforced that thinking process when he reminded Sam you need to take that damage.
And according to his character sheet on Crit Roll Stats, it's set up to where when he takes half the damage from someone, he gets that as temporary hit points.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't use those to cause damage with a physical attack, he takes it, he loses temporary hit points and takes that much damage.
Oh.
Whatever's left. So.
See, I took it that you would take the damage, it comes off the temporary hit points.
No, well, according to it says you lose the temporary hit points and take that much damage.
Oh, wow. Cool. So we're going to have FCG go down at some point.
Yeah.
I did love his "I'm not that kind of doctor" quote. Another Treasure Planet tie-in, because blanking on his name too. He says that too.
Yeah, the dog guy.
Yeah, the one who's financing the mission.
Yeah.
But after the fight, we go back into the party, and Laudna tries to set herself up as a détente at a table to attract people. And Travis saying, "No one is going to make eye contact with you." So the shipping is very light this campaign.
Yeah.
But we do occasionally get potential fragments popping up here and there. And Fern backing up Ashton's lie was one of those moments, because he seemed to really appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get that vibe. But I mean, I can see why people would. Yes, I would definitely hit up that table.
Yeah, Laudna. Well, the thing is, she's playing a high charisma character.
Yeah.
So, like, use it or don't, you know. And I don't think she wants to be like Ford, who's always trying to take a back seat.
Yeah.
That, and I mean, the consensus in the community is Laudna's like a fan favorite. I think she is the most, grab the audience attention, grab everybody's attention, and run with it. Where Jester was that in campaign 1 or 2, sorry.
2, yeah.
And Grog was that in campaign 1. Grog and Scanlan,
yeah,
were the 2 that were. I've got everybody's attention. I'm running for it. Yeah, and according to the fan art, she's also one of the more popular ones. So, yeah, exactly. Chetney veers into a southern accent, and I was struggling to pin whether it was more Boomhauer or Dale from King of the Hill.
Definitely, I think he's more of a Dale than a Boomhauer.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, especially in his attitudes.
Yeah, definitely in his attitude.
Yeah. So I look forward to more of that seeping in. Also, we get his touchstone to get Chetney's voice. Fuck you, Santa.
Yeah.
Which gets Samuel L. Jackson. One of the reasons why he says "motherfucker" so much is because that's sort of his word to keep him from stuttering, because that's how he got over his stutter.
Yeah.
So it's funny to me that's sort of his touchstone to get back the voice. Where I don't think Sam had that with Not.
No.
He just sort of would laugh, slip out of it, and then the next time he would talk, he'd try to slip back into it again.
Yeah.
We get Imogen using sending.
Yes.
And proving that she is different from Jester.
Well, yeah.
Only used, I think, 8 words in this sending. It was cast, done, and over before Travis could even get his hands up.
Yeah. They're like, you have more words. She's like, I don't need them, though.
Yeah. And then, of course, the pooping. In this case, he might have been in... Because he might have been in the bathroom.
Yeah. Paying his debts.
Yeah, I don't know why. It has been 15, 16 years, maybe longer, since I've seen this movie. But my brain went immediately to less than 0.
Okay.
When Robert Downey Jr. is in the park bathroom trying to score his Coke.
Yeah, my brain definitely didn't go to a pooping joke.
Fern loses the plot. And then more evidence that they don't watch the show. Because they were struggling to remember where exactly was I.
Yeah.
At the end of last episode. But she... she's like, well, did we get the ring? Well, no, we were trying to plant... Oh. Well, we have it, right? Can I wear it?
Yeah. And then...
Mm.
I don't know... I don't understand why Estros...
Gave it to her?
Let them keep it.
Yeah. I don't either.
Although it does... It doesn't disprove, but it takes away from your theory that it was his mistress's.
That's for sure it does, yeah.
Because if it had been that, he would have kept it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, Rose. I wouldn't say that I died when she put it on necessarily. It was.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was laughing. It was.
It was more like, oh no.
Okay.
Now the cast's reaction to it, I think, was what I laughed at.
I love her response to what are you. Well, if I put it in my pocket, it might fall out. There might be a hole in the pocket. This way, I know it's there. Yes, but so does everybody else.
Yeah, well, even if it's not magical, he can technically track her.
Yeah. Either he can cast or hire someone who can cast locate object.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what she reminded me of, because like when she's basically, I don't know exactly who she was looking at. I think it was Robbie or Marisha on the other table when she's just smiling and putting the ring on. But yeah, she's a bigger ball of chaos than Grog ever was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we knew that from the moment she tried to steal the platinum back, got a dirty 20. And she says, yeah, I rolled a 19. And Tim's like, why do you keep doing this shit if you only have a +1?
Yeah. Because compulsions don't come with skills.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, that one scene encapsulates Fern's personality.
Yeah, for sure. Which I think is another reason why she's the other. Like, Laudna and Fern are the 1-2.
Yeah.
In this campaign. Where I think campaign 2, it was Jester and Caleb. And maybe not. And campaign 1, Grog, Scanlan.
Yeah.
And Percy. At least after the Briarwood arc. But then he also sort of took a step back. Interesting that when her Come Hither play drew a fly, she lied about her name and said that she was
Lorelei DeRollo.
Which Taliesin was like, that's going to come back and bite him. Because the person knew of the DeRollos.
But didn't know about Lorelei.
Yeah. And yeah, it's gonna... if only they could listen to Caduceus. And she just out and out asks, who else is on the quorum?
Yeah. Well,
you're on. You're on
like,
it.
Armand, is on the quorum. No, he's not. But you are. That's how you know, right? Who else is there? These last 2 episodes with the whole caper at the ball really felt like an episode of Archer.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. I mean, I compared the first one to a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah.
Which is not far from an Archer episode.
Right.
And this one, yeah, okay, I could definitely see Laudna. You think she was more Pam in that moment? or more the secretary.
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Yeah. Cheryl, Carol, Charlene, whatever.
Yeah.
Whichever season she is, there's a different name.
Yeah. Yeah, she was definitely more her in that scene.
Yeah.
Ashton gets a job interview.
Yep.
And some advice from the general, which is when you blow up a piece of city infrastructure, don't appear at the city's main politicking event.
Yeah.
And Ash is like, I don't know what you mean by that. I'm gonna go now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that mask was gonna
Set someone off.
Yeah. I mean, it got the result that he wanted, which was somebody noticed and panicked.
Yeah.
It just didn't end up how he thought it was going to. Yeah. I mean, on one hand, okay, since we're talking about Archer, it's in my head now. Ashton was definitely Archer this.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Actually, in retrospect, kind of has been.
Yeah.
You people don't crime, do you?
Yeah.
You guys all suck at crime. So does that make Orem Cyril?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Laudna would be Lana.
Yeah.
The one who's down to earth, who actually has the good ideas, and no one ever listens to.
Yeah. Fern would be Pam. Imogen would be Cheryl. Bertrand is Mallory.
Oh, no. Now I have to try to not see that. It's going to be hard, I think.
Semic, Dory, and Ray.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Fern lies to FCG.
Mm-hmm.
When she's like, yeah, I'll go get some drinks. And he's like, insight check. She's like, I was going to make a detour. It's like, no, I think I'm going to come with you. And, no, I'll be right back.
Look, I just want to support you in whatever your decisions are.
So good. Do you think FCG falls into that role permanently? Or do you think Imogen is going to end up taking that up more?
I think Imogen will take it up more. I think FCG will be that for a while, but once we start getting into his backstory and learn more about him and his subclass, he'll move on from that.
Okay.
Because I think it will be a thing like Charlie and Devexian, where when he gets his memories back, he'll be different.
Ooh. Interesting. I hadn't thought about that angle. Interesting. Hmm. Do you think Sam thought that far ahead?
Yes.
Okay.
Out of all of them, Sam's the one that plays the long game.
True. True. Maybe this is how he gets his two characters in the campaign.
Yeah.
Itch without. Because we got Scanlan and
Terry,
and then Not and Veth.
Yep.
And now he's doing the maybe he might be doing the same thing with Fresh Cut Grass and whoever he was in Aor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. But they all get through the door in one way or another, or to the door.
Mm-hmm.
Dorian with the clutch minor illusion to get the guards to go that way, but they want them to check out, which also gets them injured and possibly killed, which Fern ascertains quickly. And we need to help them. Why?
Yeah. Those conversations have definitely been had at our table as well.
Yes. Yes. I just love that, like, in the lead up to that, Fern is the agent of chaos and pushing things to go. You know, she wants to be moving things along. And then FCG is trying to contain her and sort of mitigate her chaos. And at the door, when she announces, oh, they're getting killed, FCG is like, we got to go in and help.
Yeah.
She's like, why? I'm going in.
Yeah.
Proof that everyone has a color button that they want to push. For some people, it's red. Travis!
It's fun to push the red button.
Shit always happens.
Something will happen.
Yeah. Also, I think it's the first time that they've ever shown concern for city guards.
Yeah.
And I preface it that way because technically they showed concern for Jarrett and the guards they hired.
Yeah.
For Grayskull Keep. But like city guards, stuff like that, they're always assaulting them.
Yeah.
Every campaign they're beating up guards. Well, I guess technically in campaign 2, where they met Shikasta.
Allfield.
Yeah.
With Bryce.
Bryce, thank you. It's like the city starts with an A. Okay, yeah. They cared about him. Or them. But you contrast that with the last arc when they're breaking into the asylum and Beauregard on the roof with the acid. Shh, shh, shh. And Jester crying for that guard. No, go. I like you. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the good deed pays off after the fight scene.
Speaking of that secondary fight scene, Chetney just needs the common magic item of tearaway armor.
Yeah. Cast-off armor.
Cast-off armor, yeah.
Yeah.
If he's going to keep getting naked, he just needs the cast-off armor.
Yeah, Yeah. But the thing is Travis is gonna have trouble remembering that he's armored or not armored.
Yeah.
Because Matt had to double check him. Well, you're not wearing your armor.
I mean,
yeah.
he has armor anyway. He just wasn't wearing it in that scene, but still took off.
Yeah, but the last time he shape changed, he also took off his armor. And Matt didn't call him on it in that fight. But I don't remember any attack rolls being on the edge.
Yeah.
In that one, they were either under or well over.
Yeah.
His AC.
But I mean, whether he has the cast off or he, takes time to, because he basically spends around just taking off his clothes.
Yeah.
If he gets the cast off armor, it could just be a bonus action. He could still attack or transform.
He could be a nudist. Yeah. Well, and being a nudist does cost less gold. This is true.
Yeah. It's
Is
awkward to play a nudist in D&D though, there, because you get into a lot of trouble in the cities. I've tried it, so.
Does the shape change for the Lycan say that your armor, your equipment is destroyed?
Nope.
I didn't think so. I thought, because most class features that allow you to shape change, your stuff changes with you.
Yes.
Yep,
and it's the same with this. He's just doing it to do it.
Okay.
It's his flavor for his character.
Interesting. I wonder if Matt will accept the reflavoring and let him keep the armor. Because he never called Laura out on Jester being in all these dresses and wearing
the breast,
a breastplate or whatever armor she was wearing at the time.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm trying to think if there was any FCG continuing to try to save the guards was big role play moments. Orem doing his switch up as the protector was very RP.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess Ashton bringing up the rear and not getting much into anything except for slamming the bookcase.
Yeah.
On the Shade Creeper. I mean, I guess that's RP in the sense that he is super low on health. And he just got his ass beat and doesn't want to be in the thick of things.
Yeah. And he's not been a barbarian that jumps straight to combat either.
True. He wants to be more targeted.
Yeah.
In his,
in the channeling of his rage and fury. Yes.
Lady Emoth escapes.
Yep.
That slippery dash down the hole.
Yep.
Orem going after her. Imogen freaking out as the party splits because Cyrus is getting perp walked.
Yep.
And in the moment, I was like, yep, he got patsied again. Like we said, that he was falling for the same trick again. by the same people who
Oh, yeah.
got him in the mess that he's in the first place. And when they talk to the halfling, Gorilla, I'm blanking on Ziggy Stardust, because that's what's in my brain, because that's what I called him last time. When they were talking to him, he says they caught him burglaring. But we find out later they were asking him about the tower.
Yep.
I think that was such a great twist for Matt to pull, because they've been sort of concerned that Dorian looks a lot like him. Is this going to draw attention? Is his brother's trouble going to draw attention to Dorian? How is this all going to play out? And it turns out Dorian's shenanigans came back to bite his brother in the ass.
Yep.
And yeah, so good. I love that twist. And Dorian, credit to Robbie, he did the what's on my character sheet.
Yep.
What do I have?
How can I use it? Let's do this.
Yep.
Great use of a smoke grenade and charm person.
Now, the rules oversight that I caught in that moment. Charm person is concentration. Invisibility is concentration.
Yeah.
Casting the invisibility would have broken the charm, and that half work would have been calling out. Now, his quarry is not visible anymore, and perhaps he would have gotten caught up by the crowd screaming away in terror from Laudna.
Right.
So, I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things? Because they was already out of... He was 20 feet away from that half-orc when he cast invisibility. Plus, the half-orc probably didn't get a great look at him in the fog cloud, and he's masked.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like, I figured it dropped charm person, but for me, like, in the confusion with everybody screaming and running and the smoke still being there, and them having already departed, his partner having been attacked.
Yeah.
You know, the chaos, I don't know that, you know.
Yeah, like I say, it's not a huge thing, and in the grand scheme of things, there's any number of ways, as I said, that you could hand wave it away, that they still got away.
Yeah.
Just,
I think there was enough in it because he cast the invisibility right as they were leaving the smoke that Matt in my brain, and what I feel was in Matt's brain, was they've taken enough steps and done enough
to get clear
things to get that I'm going to give them this, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to prolong it. It's the end of the night.
That's true. And even if, like, say the half-orc had called out that, hey, someone's got my quarry, there's a press of people, he doesn't know who it was, and all the guards are dealing with something behind them.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get any help from the guards.
Yeah.
So, again, it's easily hand-waved away. It's just, it wasn't mentioned at the table that casting one spell would have ended the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Esteros getting his hands dirty to get them out of there.
Yeah.
And not being happy about it. I think Esteros came away from the evening with, I got my tracker on Armand. Got no info on the quorum, but I don't think he expected to get any.
Yeah.
That was just sort of
a bonus if you can.
Yeah. And we got a potential suspect.
Yeah.
Other than Armand.
Yeah. And let's be honest, the only reason he got his hands dirty is because of the cover of the smoke cloud.
Yeah. But they get away, they get to Esteros' house. And they're having the post-mission debrief.
Yeah.
Esteros and Dorian and Cyrus basically say, we need to get out of town. And I'm going to let you get out of town. I'm going to help you get out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And confirmation that Robbie's only here for the first arc.
Yep.
As they are making preparations to leave, Dorian remembers. He also has a bounty from a criminal organization on his head in the city that they are going to.
Yep.
For
For details, see EXU.
Yeah. And I was very happy that he remembered that. And I think it was a character growth moment that he admitted to it.
Yeah.
And told his brother about it.
Yeah, because this whole time he's kind of been down on his brother for going to a big city and getting a bounty on his head. And he's like, well, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Just a couple months ago.
Yeah. Now they teased another EXU.
Yes, a 2-part special event, Dorian Storm returns in EXU. Now, if Abria, I'm assuming EXU is going to just stay Abria DMing.
Yeah, I think so.
My question is, does Matt come back as Dariax, or does Matt play Cyrus?
Why not both?
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't think it would be. I think someone else.
Play Cyrus?
Yeah. And I could see Will Friedle doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be good.
Right?
I miss Will on the stream. He was good as Cash. I'd like to see him again.
So, yeah.
But yeah, you could bring Matt back as Dariax. You can bring Amy back as Opal.
Yep.
Dorian, Cyrus.
Yep.
Have a fun little...
They would only need one other person to make it a full 4-party thing.
I think, Rose, that the plan was that Cyrus would end up escaping one way or another.
Yeah, because
either the Corsairs would get him out if the party couldn't, or the party got him out.
Yeah. And it came down to, you need to get him out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, he's not the guy. Like, one detect thoughts or zone of truth casting, they are going to know it's not him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just a matter of this way Esteros sent them off.
Yeah.
If it had been the other way, the Corsairs would have sent them off.
Yeah. And I think Matt knew that this was a huge motivating thing, that Robbie wouldn't let it go.
Right. Yeah,
Robbie's going to try to get him out, whether it's in the party, on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figure he expected the party to get him out, but if, the backup plan was if dice rolls fail and things go badly, the Corsairs will spring him.
Yeah.
Or them,
yeah.
Depending.
Especially if this was a potential hard out for Robbie.
Yeah. Yeah, if this was the hard out, especially since they've probably already filmed the EXU.
Yeah. Or we'll be filming it soon. But because this was probably filmed 2 to 4 weeks ago.
Right.
Because they seem to do them in batches of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he was gonna be gone, I think, no matter what, and gotten out, and the two of them off.
Yeah, and I think the not so much hard out, but the decision was, probably behind the scenes decision was, whenever we get to the ball, that you're out. Because the ball is kind of the end of the first arc.
Yeah.
So when we get to the end of the first arc, that's the ball. That's when.
Yeah. Want to touch on him leaving the ship. I don't know what to make of that. And even though Chetney wasn't there, Travis seemed to appreciate it that some kid came along and got it and fell in love with it.
Yeah. Well, and Robbie even says that's all you really wanted was someone who would love it. And he's like, yeah. Yeah, if something had happened and Cyrus did die, it would have been that would have been the reason Robbie would have had to leave.
Yeah, but the exit point is the entry into EXU.
Yeah.
That's the problem with, if Cyrus dies, he goes back home.
Right. Well,
but that's also,
I don't know that he would have gone back home, but it would have, I need to leave.
Yeah.
Because they're going to identify Cyrus, tell my parents, if I'm here, they're going to make me go back.
Yeah, that's true. The name.
Not a fan.
Neither am I, and not just because Vox Machina was there for the taking, and they had an inn, and all that. We've talked about it. My biggest thing is, why do they keep coming up with names and imagery that seems to serve the Betrayer gods? In Campaign 2, it was Chaos Crew, with the symbol of an apparent broken chain, where they were fighting the Chained Oblivion, who was trying to get unchained. And this one, they're talking about being servants of, or being from hell.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have even
been
okay
with... As the drinking game says. What the fuck's up with that?
I mean, I would have been more okay with Bell's Hellions, or just shortened to Hellions, over Bell's Hells.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, bro, that's, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, Matt even said in an interview with Todd Kenrick earlier today, it's on YouTube, that as much as he thought the Mighty Nine were chaos, this new campaign is even more chaotic.
Yeah.
Has been even more chaotic. And
which... The only person who rivals Sam and proved he is the master of the long game is Matt.
Yes.
And Matt has done a much tighter job this campaign, as we've discussed, of tying everyone's backstories together, tying the motivation into every mission, into more than one person's backstory. It would not surprise me that Matt is planning for them to usher in the bad guy's plan, whatever that is, the extraplanar bad guy, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's planning on them ushering it in because they're so chaotic. And because it's going to, I think he's going to present, it's going to come down to sort of like Percy. You can get what you want, but it's going to cost you your soul, basically. It's going to cost you. Are you going to be Delilah Briarwood and break the world?
Yeah.
For your love? Are you going to break the world for what you want?
Yep.
And we'll see if that's true, which I have a feeling it is, because that would give the campaign stakes that I don't think we've seen manifest yet.
Yeah.
Like everyone has had ties to what's going on in one way or another. So they've had personal stakes, but we haven't seen
the overarching scheme.
Yeah, and also no one, like everyone's had this interest, but nothing has come up where we got to do that.
Yeah, they've nibbled at the bait. They haven't seen the whole.
Yeah. Yes, Rose. If their name does say anything, it's gonna. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They will unleash hell, and that's. Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, is going to be, will make for a hell of an interesting story. You know, the path to hell paved with good intentions kind of thing. And it's not one that CR has explored very much.
Right.
In fact, Campaign 2 was what good can come out of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
If that had a theme.
Yeah.
And Campaign 1, they were largely archetypes that became heroes in the mythic sense of it.
Yeah.
Save the world. That was that story. Where this one, I could see Matt planning for them to be the cause. The ultimate sort of, thank you, you've unlocked my cage.
Yeah.
Because, again, Laudna and Imogen fit into that.
Yeah.
Because of Delilah and whatever extraplanar stuff's happening with Imogen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't expect to be delving into their stuff until, late campaign.
Yeah. Third/end arc.
Yeah, but I think our group are getting the hell out of the city next episode.
Yep.
They're gonna take Ashton's job offer from his debtor and get the hell out of town. And we're going to start getting some answers, I think. We're going to start to see more peaks at what's coming in the later tiers.
Yeah.
Because at level 5, we're now in tier 2. And so if you're gonna keep going, you have to start laying the seeds for the tier 3 stuff. And yeah, the rogue, yeah. And Fern's extraplanar too, technically.
Yeah. And Orm is a Shari, which deals with the planes.
Yeah. So.
And Dorian was extraplanar, and Ashton has connection to the plains being Ganassi.
So we'll see what we get. No episode this Thursday, and we will be off next Tuesday for Wild Speculations. I may do some session or game design prep stuff next Tuesday. I may do it by myself, or my daughter may join me. We'll see. But if not, we'll see you the following Tuesday. Take care of each other, guys.